Big day. You had Vladimir Putin and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, sitting down and meeting for 2 hours today, an hour longer than expected. They did come to some sort of agreement on a ceasefire in Syria, and the markets, they like it all. They especially like the stellar jobs report today. Take a look at that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up nearly 100 points. We got oil closing out the day. Prices continuing to fall despite news of lower U.S. oil inventory. Can we take a quick peek at oil? Closing out the day just 6 minutes ago. As I said, a little bit lower despite these inventory levels. And Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway wants to buy electric grid company Encore for $9 billion in cash and assume it's $40 billion debt. Buffett is betting his deal is sweet enough to win over the Texan regulators for the sale, since 2 earlier suitors have failed to get approval. Well, remember that promise to repeal and replace Obamacare? Remember? Well, now Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is publicly admitting it may not happen. At a Rotary lunch in Kentucky, he said, and I quote, "If my side is unable to agree on an adequate replacement, then some kind of action with regard to the private health insurance market must occur, meaning if we can't replace it, we'll just fix it." McConnell has said he may produce a fresh bill, more limited in scope, in about a week or so. As of now, the Republican health care bill, according to Axios polling, is the least popular bill in nearly 30 years. How do you like that? It's worse than TARP. All right, Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock joins me now. Is he giving up? What do you think of Mitch McConnell?
I think Mitch McConnell is engaging in malpractice. He has,
wow.
Yeah, he has his members of his caucus out at home dealing with protesters, dealing with town halls and all that. And the last thing these guys need and gals need in the middle of all this is their leader saying, "Oh, well, I guess it's not going to work," basically taking his 51 other Republicans and throwing them under the bus. Completely inappropriate. What he should be doing is saying, listen, we're working on this. We have some differences. We're trying to even those out. We have all of July to vote on this. If we need to, we'll stick around in August. By my rough calculation, they've got 7 more weeks they can vote on this. They could do 1 bill per week if they can't get to it, score it on Monday, Tuesday, debate it on Wednesday, vote Thursday, Friday, and maybe middle of August they get to the Goldilocks plan, which is just right. It is way too early for him to be throwing in the towel. And I don't see any reason why Mitch McConnell is doing something other than leading, which is what he ought to be.
Deroy, there are a lot of members of the Republican Party that think he is the greatest thing since sliced bread. They're like, Mitch McConnell's a total magician. He'll be able to get something done, and we have total faith in him. Is that just all posturing, or are they just saying that? I mean, you're washing your hands of him.
Yeah, in terms of magic, it's smoke and mirrors. I remember a year ago during the whole Iran nuke deal debate, while a lot of Democrats are still trying to decide whether they were for or against this thing, early on, it was right about early August, mid-August, McConnell said, well, I guess we just don't have the votes. I guess we lost that one. And this is while Democrats are still deciding whether or not they back Obama. And he just threw in the towel, and we ended up losing that one. So I really wish McConnell would grow a couple of vertebrae and actually lead rather than retreat.
And if he can't?
I think this is something that Republicans have to do. If the Republicans don't do this, I think they're going to lose the House and perhaps lose their majority in the Senate, and then he will be the minority leader.
So if Mitch
wants to keep his job, he needs to lead the majority, which he's not doing.
A lot of folks have said, well, no, they can just, let this continue on as is. Obamacare is not very good. People will eventually blame the Democrats for that. You don't believe it, right? They're going to blame the Republicans,
are in charge. The Republicans campaigned on this for 7 years. And use that issue to win the House, the Senate, and the White House. They're in charge. They need to take care of this. And they can say, oh, well, they'll blame the Democrats. No, people will blame the Republicans.
You know what's frustrating to me? I look at it, and you're right. They had 7 years. They had 7 years to come up with something else, because I'll tell you, you can't just repeal the thing. As we've said before, people get used to a certain kind of entitlement. They want it to continue. Any politician worth their salt could have told you you needed to come up with another plan. And they didn't have to.
No, they had 7 years to work on this. And let's say that they just goofed around for 7 years, knowing that they had a Democrat president. They knew on November 9th that they'd have a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican White House. So certainly from November 9th until maybe the inauguration, they would have had 2 months to sit in a room and figure this out and say, here's our plan. We've scored it. We've got the talking points. We've told the activists what to say. We've got the commercials ready to go to back it.
They didn't.
None of the above. And even now, it's July, they still don't have their acts together.
Look, I guess what's so disturbing about this, and this is government's problem in general, but it's not just what's going on in healthcare. I look overseas right now, and we're talking about, okay, we need to get rid of Bashar al-Assad. Well, what's the plan to replace him? What are we going to do? What's the plan to deal with North Korea? I mean, what do we have ready to go? And the reality is there's a lot of twirling one's thumbs here and not enough action in terms of the plans for what is next, and that's a big mistake.
It's frustrating. Yep.
Hey, did I tell you how much I like
Oh,
this suit?
thank you very much.
Looking very dapper.
It's summer, so
sir.
this is the
Yeah,
time to
you
wear
just
it.
need the straw hat,
That's
right?
it, exactly.
Dory, thanks
Good to
so
see
much.
you.
All right, a new Senate report revealing that the, quote, alarming and unprecedented avalanche